Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to episode 15 of the Stock Guy AL3X Show. What's up?
Nothing, just 15. Oh my God.
Episode 15, bro, of the Stock Guy AL3X Show, the podcast that covers topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, sports. Guys, if the world's chatting about it, if it's something that people are interested in, Stocky and I are going to be talking about it. This show can be watched and listened on YouTube and Spotify very soon, guys, everywhere else. Also, guys, follow the show on all the other platforms, Twitter, Insta, LinkedIn, TikTok. Guys, everybody, welcome. Stocky's
You've been saying coming to other platforms for a while now.
Yeah, other platforms for the podcast?
Yeah, you've been saying that for like 10 episodes now.
I mean, we got it on the Google podcast platform. It's on SoundCloud. It's on there's two other ones that we uploaded it to. The only other one is Apple Podcasts that it's not currently on. But hey, you know,
that's fair.
We're on our way. The Apple Podcast. Stocky's got a Gary Johnson shirt on. He's making a stand.
Gary Johnson 2016. That's right. Little hedgehog.
He's making a stand. I like it. He actually just went up and you actually just changed your shirt for that. That was a very intentional, deliberate shirt. It's very good. We're both wearing blue today. I got my Justin Herbert jersey on, up and coming.
Why are you wearing jerseys in the off season? Like, I mean, if I see somebody wearing a jersey in the off season, I automatically assume douche. You know, like that's just what I see. Like, it's June and somebody's wearing an NFL jersey. I'm like, that's a douchebag.
It's February. We just had a Super Bowl 2 weeks ago.
And that particular team and player was not in the Super Bowl, and the season is over.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, up and coming. If you got to see any of his game this year, he's a top 5 quarterback. Easy money going into 2022, 2023, which is an incredible pick for the San Diego Chargers, LA Chargers.
Jacksonville 2024.
Jacksonville Jaguars passed on him.
Yeah, well, you know what? The Jaguars also drafted a punter over fucking Russell. I mean, what's his name? Russell Wilson. Okay, things happen.
Things happen big. How was the weekend? You said you got all refreshed, which is really good.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say refreshed, but we wanted to go see my grandparents, right? And I'm always telling people, listen, it's not to be depressing, but I always tell them you have 300 days to spend with your family once you move out of your home. Like literally, if you break it down, you have 300 days, and you're never going to spend all of them. So that's sad, right? So you're not going to be able to spend a lot of time until they go away. So you got to make do. You can't keep putting it off because you just never know. Even if they you know if they pass away or something happens sooner, you've got less time. But if they get to the average age, whatever. So I was like, I got to go see my grandparents, right? That my grandfather's having some health problems. I got to go see them. Let's do it. Couldn't find anything in Florida. I was looking at Airbnbs. I was looking at everything. Couldn't find a single place from Orlando down to where we live to stay, except one farm out somewhere that was like $750 a night. So I'm like, this sucks. We're gonna have to figure something out. We gotta take the dog, the baby, whatever. I'm searching. All of a sudden, something pops up the day before we have to go, and I'm like, okay, cool. It says you got a little place on a ranch, on an 1,800 acre ranch. I'm like, oh, that must be nice, right? So I look around, look at my wife. I say, this is our only option. Space for the dog. We're good. So I book it. After I book it, the next day I put it into the GPS. Turns out it's in a place west of a place called Yeehaw Junction, Florida. I'm not making this up. It's called Yeehaw Junction, Florida. And it's not anywhere near any of the main thoroughways, right? It's not up 95, it's not up 27, it's in between. So you have to go up the interstate and drive an hour into the state.
Sounds like they appreciate a good Gardner Minshew there.
There's nothing. When I got there, the nearest Publix, the nearest grocery store was 31 miles away. I was like, oh shit. So we get there late at night, and I swear to God, it was the Disney World for every fucking wannabe cowboy out there. It was called Westgate River Ranch. And we get in there, and the first thing you see on the left is these giant glamping tents. And then you see these giant fucking teepee tents, and then you see like all these like these 4 tents under the giant trees with lights, and they're all over the field. And then you've got like cabins, and then we get up to our place next to a rodeo thing, and there's a petting zoo, and everybody's wearing cowboy hats. And I'm gonna tell you something, okay? This is the first time I've ever seen this, but there ain't nothing hotter, okay? This is the first time I've ever experienced this. There ain't nothing hotter than like a Latin woman dressed up in like cowgirl shit, dude. The boots and the jeans and the hat and everything. All right, but now that I said that, everybody there is like, it's like the biggest K-cone of shit I've ever seen. There's cows everywhere, and it was insane. It was insane. I was like, if we die out here, no one's gonna know. But there was no service, and I got to disconnect a little bit. Had a good time. The room was pretty good. We had some issues, but everything went well. But yeah, it was a good time, and we actually got to see the family and spend some time with the kid, and the dog, and yeah, that was the weekend. You know, and you know, it is what it is.
Good weekend, man. I'm glad you got refreshed and recharged.
I did, and I was looking forward to it.
Often. That's not something you do often.
The thing was, I was forced to. Because we didn't have any service out there, so I couldn't be watching news and stuff. But the thing is that this morning I woke up, I had my coffee, and I was feeling better today. Like mentally, I felt a little bit better, a little bit more refreshed. Kind of got something clear, and then I realized I don't have coffee tomorrow. I don't have any beans in the house because I have a partnership with a coffee company, and they are really bad at making sure that I'm stocked, especially with my own brand. So I had to make an emergency run today. And
did you order? Did you order with your coffee company? Did you order? Did you tell them like, hey, you know, we're low?
There was a streamer on, and he helped me shop, and I got buy one get one free 8 o'clock coffee. Oh wait, these aren't beans. Fuck.
Could have had your Diamond Hands dark roast as well. Right here,
I don't want literally it says, I want real people.
Literally, it says,
thought these were beans.
Literally, it has your picture on the back.
Oh wait,
the Stock Guy.
I think one of them is beans.
This asshole goes and buys other coffee. Just tell us we sent you coffee.
Okay, I screwed up. One of them is whole bean, and one is already pre messed up. So this one apparently is bean.
This packaging actually has your face on it.
How would you have a collab with somebody who drinks a lot of coffee and send them 2 bags?
How would you not tell us that you're running out? We'll send you more.
By the time I tell you I'm running out and I get it, I'm already out.
It takes like 3 days.
I drink like a tub of
and it's like 3 days
a week.
You tell us, and it's like 3 days.
Let me tell you something,
and
okay?
Boom, you got it.
All right, I'm getting. That's it. No more beans from you. I'm ordering them straight from Ukraine. I mean, they got to be at a discount at this point.
I don't know, man.
And I told you I wanted beans with a little gunpowder in them. Ooh, too soon.
Guys, I do not know if you're going to be able to get much out of Ukraine. According to this article on AP News, and according to literally everything and everywhere you look across the world right now, war fears are growing as Putin has ordered troops into the eastern part of Ukraine. Guys, it's an article on apnews.com. It says a long-feared Russian invasion of Ukraine appeared to be imminent Monday, if not already underway, with Russian President Vladimir Putin ordering forces into separatist regions of eastern Ukraine. A vaguely worded decree signed by Putin did not say if troops were on the move, and it cast the order as an effort to maintain peace, but it appeared to dash the slim remaining hopes of averting a major conflict in Europe that could cause massive casualties, energy shortages on the continent, and economic chaos around the globe. Speaking of economic chaos, the S&P closed down an entire % today. What I read, it was because of this. Stocky, does that sound accurate?
I mean, that's part of it. There's so much else going on. I mean, investors hate uncertainty and hate the idea that there's going to be a global conflict. I think this is just flexing muscles. I don't think there's going to be any actual conflict. I think it's just going to be a lot of stern talk. Putin's going to see how far he can go before people actually start ramping shit up.
Though. You said last week. You said smoke and mirror.
It's still jockeying position. He hasn't ordered his troops in yet. He signed a decree. He hasn't said that they're going to go in and invade or take the land. He said they're going to go in as a peacekeeping mission because the people who are separatists or Russian sympathizers that are part of Ukraine, because remember, Ukraine used to be part of the USSR, so there's a lot of people in Ukraine that are still very sympathetic to the Russian government and whatever. So he's saying that we're going to go in and we're going to be peacekeepers to stop all the violence going on. He hasn't made any statement about going in, annexing, or actually doing this. He's just creeping. That's what he's doing. He's just flexing his power. He's just seeing how much he can get and see for the future how far he can go and how much people are reliant on him. That's all he's doing. Yeah. That's all he's doing. Germany just now, for the first time, actually, they've been quiet as a mouse. The whole EU has finally said, we are not going to cancel the pipeline, but we are going to halt production. And so now they're trying to get a backbone, but it's a little bit late. So, we'll see. He's just posturing, man. He's not gonna. You think he's gonna invade fucking Kiev? No.
Well, the last time, in 2014 or was that 24? Was it 14 or 15 where he took Crimea? Oh
my God.
Well, when he took Crimea, I mean, it's had a dramatically negative impact on their GDP. What are you looking at?
Well, I mean, here's the thing about GDP for them. Obviously, it's not about GDP in the short term, right? It's something that's going to happen. Obviously, taking something over, occupying it, having to deal resources and money, that's going to be part of it. But it's not about GDP. GDP in the short term is one thing. Long term, it's different. Having people fear you means that you have the upper hand in anything, whether it's negotiations, whether it's trade deals, whether it's alliances, whether it's who. I mean, look at Ukraine, right? Like the president of Ukraine has already been like, maybe we don't want to join the NATO. Maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe we don't want a civil war. But he's already influencing. It's all about influence. Why is the United States so powerful? Because they have a military, they have influence, and people fear them. Once the fear is gone, you're nothing, right? It's like North Korea. North Korea, if any other developed country in the world with nuclear weapons did what North Korea does, everybody would scare. But everybody's like, oh, okay, buddy, okay. But Putin wants everybody to know. I mean, he even went back with it,
I just don't think Putin's a rational actor. I don't think he's
more rational than people think.
I don't think he thinks the same way that everyone thinks. I think he's probably so hung up on legacy, you know what I mean, and like what people think about him. Like further down the line, I feel like he wants to be known as the guy that went in and just reclaimed Ukraine, and that he wants that to be a part of it.
He's not going to reclaim Ukraine. Well, once again, everybody's already forgotten about Crimea now. Everybody's like, okay, that's gone now. Now we got to focus on Ukraine. So whether he takes it or not, I don't know. I think it's probably going to be one of those things where they just stay there as peacekeeping troops, right? Which is they're allowed to do, right? We put NATO for peacekeeping. He can put peacekeeping thing. That's not an invasion. That's just peacekeeping troops. We're just helping the locals. And then long enough, there's going to be like fighting and civil war. And then they're going to have like, okay, let's let the people vote. And then the EU is going to be like, fuck, I guess. All right, whatever. People vote. They want to be part of Russia. And then it becomes a territory of Russia. And then that's how it goes. That's what's going to happen.
So it says, recognizing the separatist region's independence is likely to be popular in Russia, where many share Putin's worldview. Russian state media released images of people in Donetsk setting off fireworks, waving large Russian flags, and playing Russia's national anthem. Obviously, it's a separatist region, so kind of like what you're saying, I guess it's not as aggressive of a move here. He's basically just occupying a part of Ukraine that
promised him a bunch of fucking economic. The U.S. has already put the sanctions on those separatist regions, right? Okay, so you did that. Now you you make yourself the enemy, and you allow the enemy to become the hero. So now, we're not saying that they're an enemy, but have Russia come in and say, "Oh, the Americans, they take your money. I give you money. You can vote for me." Okay, that's like basically what it is. Like we're going to support you while the U.S. is screwing you over. Oh, thank you, our saviors. Okay, now Russia somehow gets the EU to be like, okay, let's let them vote, and of course they're going to vote for him, and then they're going to vote to leave. That's just how it's going to be.
So it says Russia says it wants Western guarantees that NATO won't allow Ukraine and other former Soviet countries to join as members. And Putin said Monday that a simple moratorium on Ukraine's accession wouldn't be enough. It says a little further up, President Joe Biden and Putin tentatively agreed to a meeting brokered by French President Emmanuel Macron in a last-ditch effort to avoid war. If Russia moves in, the meeting will be off, but the prospect of a face-to-face summit resuscitated hopes in diplomacy to prevent a conflict that could devastate Ukraine and cause huge economic damage across Europe, which is heavily dependent on Russian energy. This was something that happened just 2 weeks ago? It was that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the energy is the biggest thing. I mean, that's the thing. Russia, this is why the EU, we talked about it, the EU is silent on this because Russia has the EU by the balls. Energy crisis going on right now. The Dutch have already got rid of coal. Germany's already shut down their nuclear power. Wind energy can't keep, and solar can't keep the lights on for everybody. They're heavily reliant on oil and natural gas, and they get most of their natural gas, almost all of it, from Russia. They're trying to broker deals with Bahrain and Qatar to get a secondary pipeline, but Bahrain and Qatar are like, hey, we already have deals with the East. Are you going to pay for that and then pay for ours? What's going on? And so even if the pipeline goes down, they're still going to get. This is what here's the funny thing. Germany for the first time is like, oh, we are going to be tough now, and they're like, oh, we're gonna halt the production or the pipeline, expansion. Yeah, but that's only where half of their oil comes from. The other half comes from Russia via other ways, right? Yeah. So it is what it is. The EU, he knows that with the energy crisis in the world right now, he's got them by the balls. He's just asserting his power. This is gonna drag on for months, is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be back and forth. It's gonna pop up. They're gonna pull back. They're gonna stop. They're gonna do this. That's what it's gonna be. And I think it's gonna go back to the whole thing with convincing the EU to let them vote. But you know what? Let me tell you something right now. Okay, I'm gonna put on my Kid Kona hat right now. Let me tell you something. This only happening because Joe Biden is in office. Let me tell you something real quick though. I bet you this wouldn't happen if President Trump was still president.
It didn't happen when Trump was president. It happened before, it happened after. But guys, we're living in the after. In this time where Trump has been banned
from that.
In this time where Trump, has been banned from everything since his presidency. But it's okay for all you Trump fans out there. I'm with Stocky. I voted for Gary Johnson in 2016. So there you go. We both voted for a loser, even though we had similar agendas in doing so. But for all you Trump fans out there, Trump's social media site hits the App Store a year after he was banned from Twitter. He's been talking about doing this, starting his own news site, whatever. Obviously, everybody, I feel like, bro, here's the deal about Trump. Before I read the article, here's the deal about Trump. I feel like it's been a year, right, since he's been removed from office. And I feel like everybody has, obviously outwardly like acknowledged that, yeah, this is a post-Trump time for the U.S. 2016 through 2020 were really volatile socially, and it was super loud and people were really angry. But, it's been a year with no Trump. In the back of everybody's mind, it's like, when is that Trump thing going to be a thing again? When is Trump going to be back? Because he's not gone. He's not gone forever. He obviously is going to run in 2024.
He runs again.
He says he's going to run again in 2024. But I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like you're just waiting. Like it's kind of like after the first Star Wars movie, like when the Death Star's gone, and you're like, oh, like really, what is going to happen? And then the Death Star's back. In the third Star Wars movie. So, I mean, I'm talking about the ones in the 70s and 80s or whatever. But anyway, guys, according to this article on NPR.org, Trump's social media site hits the App Store. Truth Social is what it's called. The fledgling social media platform created by former President Donald Trump that bills itself as free from political discrimination. Launched Monday. The app shot to the top of Apple's most downloaded list, but complaints quickly rolled in, including a buggy registration process, long wait lists, and sign-up glitches. NPR's Bobby Allen reports Trump created the app after he was kicked off a number of social platforms last year over his incitement of the Capitol riot. The app is Twitter-like in its features and design, allowing users to build custom profiles, follow others, and create posts, which the app calls truths and retruths instead of tweets and retweets. It will differ from mainstream social media, however, in its plans for content moderation. That's the whole thing, man. This whole content moderation discussion. They bill it as a free from political discrimination. Shouldn't they all be free from political discrimination?
Yeah,
isn't that the point?
Real quick. Do you remember Google Plus?
Yeah, they tried, man. They put a lot of money in that.
This is going to be Google Plus. Like, here's the thing. Like, you have this large block of conservative people, right? Or Trump people, or whatever you want to call them. And that's a massive group of people, right? And those are people that are kind of on Facebook. This is bad for Facebook. There's other things that are going bad for Facebook right now, like Apple pulling the privacy and stopping, allowing people to opt out of tracking. Now Google's doing it. Facebook's done, right? The whole company. They tried rebranding with Meta. It was too late. The only people that are left on Facebook are the people that are going to go to Truth Media, but they're not going to stay there. And I'm going to tell you why. A couple things. Number one, in order for this to be, it's going to be like Google Plus, right? It sounds like a good idea. It's got all this money behind it. It's got this big name behind it. You think everybody's going to do it. And a bunch of people are going to go there. And then they're going to realize after the hype wears down, there's not as active. It's not as engaging as the other because this is going to be like US only. And it's going to be just a certain amount of people. And it's going to get kind of like,
it's just going to be conservatives.
Not only that, but here's the other two things. That people are going to not be able to get any information because only certain people are going to be there, and people they're still going to spend time on other apps, and it's going to end up splitting the time, and then people are going to feel like it's a dead app. They're not going to spend time on it. They're going to lose users and stuff like that. And there's only a certain amount of people that they're going to be able to sign up. It's not like Facebook or others where you can reach out and keep grabbing more people. But the thing that I'm going to be paying attention to with this is I think that this is the problem. How is a company profitable? By selling ads to you, right? Ad revenue and data, that's the profitability. The problem is that this site is going to only have the ads. They're going to have the same ads that fucking Alex Jones had with InfoWars, right? Because here's the thing. If you allow people to spread information, whether it's true, untrue, it's fake, I don't know, whatever. Here's the thing. If you allow that to happen, advertisers aren't going to want to be on there, right? Advertisers don't want their product put on somebody fucking spouting that Obama is actually a cousin of Osama bin Laden, and he's a mole, and he's gonna take down the country from the inside, and that he's behind 9/11. That's not going to fly, right? No advertiser wants wants their product on that, except for, you know, Billy Bob's, you know, dick pills and fucking survival 5-pound food that lasts 20 years. Those are the only people that are going to advertise. You can't sustain a platform with no advertising money. There's no, where is the profit there? Where is the money? It's going to run out of money, and nobody's going to want to invest in a dying company. It'll be dead in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably right, but I feel like what you're doing is you're taking a more practical, you know, analysis of its business model. I'm simply just talking about, you know, what makes social media so great for those, and what makes Twitter so great for those that are so politically inclined. Like, it's the fact they get to argue and yell at people and belittle people on the internet. And I hate that. Everyone hates that that happens.
Twitter will take you down if you say anything that's considered hate speech, anything that is considered misinformation. They'll take you down.
No, but I know. But think about the the political debates that happen on social media. How on Twitter? How often do you find a thread and it's just two people that have different thoughts, that respect the diversity of their thoughts, and they just keep.
You don't see it anymore. Because outside of Facebook, the vast majority of social media users are left leaning. For example, have you ever been on Reddit's r/politics?
I've been there, not a lot.
Okay. If there is anything on there that is negative against conservatives or Republicans, it's upvoted to oblivion, millions of comments, everybody's happy. The moment you put something that's down against Democrats or positive for conservatives, it is downvoted and destroyed into oblivion. It's where it is. It's become echo chambers. There is no such thing as a weighted, you know, evenly weighted discourse on there. So people don't even have those conversations anymore. That's why you have so many echo chambers.
So what I can imagine, obviously, you know, echo chamber is the right word for it. What I can imagine is a bunch of conservatives and a bunch of, you know, quote unquote Republicans, or a bunch of Trump, you know, people that are pro-Trump, downloading this app, right? And then wanting to find a sort of like verbal battleground for you know, exactly what they do on Twitter, but only finding people that think just like them. So, you know, there's not going to be a lot of that emotional or that sensational engagement where they find someone that doesn't think like them and they get to kind of attack them a little bit and spar and go back and forth. Which is great,
because a lot of what's going to happen is the vast majority of people are going to get bored and move off, but then it's going to take a significant number of them, and they're going to get, I don't want to call it radicalized, but they're going to get like hardcore into their little group, and that's what ends up breeding problems, whether it's on the left or the right. When you get a group of people who are echo chambering and completely like yes sir, yes man's about it, then they find one person who's their leader, and then all of a sudden there's a problem.
So this is just like human nature. This is like as human nature as it gets. People like
experiment. Remember the one with the prison, the Stanford prison or whatever it was, the prison where they took half the students and put them as guards and half as inmates, and it turned out that after time the guards ended up abusing the inmates and abusing power. It's just natural.
Yeah, this is just human nature. People just end up with, you know, like-minded people or people that they're similar to. This is just, obviously, it's like, what is that, tribalism? It's like they end up seeing a bunch of people or they just think this is for me because a bunch of people you know, in this space think like me. And now here we are 20, or not 20, but we're really like 15 years into social media now. And so now here it used to just be, hey, here's Facebook. Oh, and then also here's Twitter and here's YouTube. And it was just kind of like, those are the three. And now there's so many platforms at this point, and there's so many sort of like sub platforms inside of those platforms. If you look at like Reddit and everything. And so, I mean, I don't know, I guess all I'm getting to is Trump says it's going to be free from political discrimination. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, go on there and say Trump's a loser and see what happens.
Exactly. It's all it's going to be is a pro-Trump platform. That's it.
You just made me think of something. You know what's funny is every time I talk to people who are, you know, either anti-capitalist or they're pro-socialist, but they want a form of anarchy in government, they don't understand what anarchy really is. Like in their mind, anarchy is like there's no government. We all live in little communities where we support each other and help and stuff like that. They don't understand how anarchy works. Anarchy means that there's no protection, there's no whatever. People can burn down your house, and the fire department's not gonna put it out. Police aren't gonna arrest them. You're not gonna have any roads like that. And what happens is then you get scattered, and then people for the vast majority of people, they are lost sheep and they look for strength and leadership. And then that's where you get, you get, like you said, your tribalism. Then you get the one person, and then they fight over resources. And the next thing you know, people are murdering each other. There's no one to stop it. Then it's vigilante. And then it falls into fucking disarray, and everybody's in bad spot. So I say, forget Trump, forget Biden, forget presidents, forget that. I say we bring back royalty. That's what I need. I need someone who is ordained by God when they are born to be my leader. As long as they can live forever.
What was the thing that Trump took whenever he got COVID? The hydrochloroquine? Is that what it was? That what it was called?
He took a lot of things.
He took a lot of things. Either way, whatever it is, maybe the Queen can download Truth Social and learn.
No, I think Joe Rogan needs to visit the Queen. He got over it.
Doesn't matter. She needs to figure out. The Queen needs to figure out how to get past COVID. If it's Rogan or if it's Trump or if it's whoever, because apparently the Queen has tested positive for COVID, guys, according to an article BBC.com by Dulce, Dulci, how would you pronounce that name? Dulce Lee and Adam Bourbon, guys. Queen's got COVID. So the monarch is experiencing mild cold-like symptoms, but expects to continue light duties at Windsor over the coming week. The palace said she will continue to receive medical attention and will follow all the appropriate guidelines. It added in a statement. Her eldest son and heir, the Prince of Wales, tested positive on February 10th after meeting his mother on February 8th. It's understood a number of people have tested positive at Windsor Castle, so on and so forth. Queen's got COVID. I feel like the past 90 days, everyone in the world has gotten COVID. This is kind of like, this feels like that moment in time where it's going to be sort of like herd logic. It just works its way through the herd. But, Stocky's got his tinfoil hat on, so I'm guessing he doesn't feel the same.
Let me tell you something right now, okay? The Queen ain't going to die. I'm going to tell you why. The Queen hates her son so much that she is still living purely out of spite. I am convinced that the Queen will live until her son Charles dies, and she'll die the next day. She refuses to die and leave the monarchy in his hands, and she wants to give it up to his son. So that is my thing. The Queen will live until Charles dies. That is it. That is it. I don't know if they are using aborted fetuses or if they're using stem cells from umbilical cords. I don't know if they're sacrificing goats to some Anunnaki god. I don't know what they're doing, but she will not die until her son dies. I believe she's only living out of spite. That's it.
It's a spite crown. You're saying it's a spite crown.
I do. I say that she is willing. She's just going to survive until her son is gone, and then she'll be like, "All right, I'm good."
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David?
I've never seen it.
He has a whole episode. He has a whole season where this coffee shop he goes to, he doesn't agree with the guy who owns it and how he runs his store, and he's got like wobbly tables, and he thinks the coffee doesn't come out hot enough and the scones aren't scony enough. So he opens up a coffee shop right next to it and calls it, like the original store is called Mocha Joe's. He opens up one called Latte Larry's, and he calls it a spite store. And that's his whole reason for existence, is he wants to open it. He opens up retail and just wants to take the other store down. And then in that season, it causes a whole bunch of other celebrities to do the same thing. Like Mila Kunis opens up like a spite jewelry store and all this stuff. But what you're saying is this is a spite crown. Queen
it is. It's like me holding a stock that I know is never going to come back. And but I'm just holding it out of spite. Like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to look at this every day and be like, fuck you. Okay. I should sell it and use that money somewhere else, but no, I'll just keep it just there because you know what? Why not? You know, maybe I'll just keep buying shares until I'm the majority shareholder and then just take the company into the ground. I don't know, but I think it's a spite crown. And I think that my money is on the day Charles dies. She dies the next day, and then it's over.
I like the tinfoil. I didn't expect it to go to spite crown. I like spite crown. That's a good
spite crown.
That's a good. I'm in. Like, of all your conspiracies, that's the one that I am all the way inside of.
They're keeping her alive. Even she may be dead and they're animating her. I don't know, but she is not going to be. She will not be declared dead until her son dies. Maybe the minute after. I don't know, but they're not going to let him have the crown. That's it. She hates Camilla or whatever the hell his wife's name is. She really hated Diana. Well, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother conspiracy right there. They murdered her ass. She knew too much. She started doing interviews and they murdered her ass. But it kind of happened in a tunnel, right? But you know something? It is what it is. But one thing you can do, and we've learned about COVID, is to exercise, eat healthy, get good fats and proteins. What are you laughing about?
I'm laughing because I was like, I wonder how he's going to transition into this next story. That is a great transition, guys, because according to this article on CNBC.com, you can get yourself here in the U.S. You can make sure you're getting yourself some of those fats and proteins because avocados can keep coming in. The U.S. government allows Mexican avocado imports to resume after a brief suspension. I think that was delicious. I was wondering, I'm looking at the run of show and I was like, how is he going to do this to that? That was delicious and incredible. It was amazing and the best, guys. The U.S. Department of Agriculture announced Friday that imports of Mexican avocados could resume after a brief pause. A week ago, one of the USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service inspectors in Mexico was threatened, leading to the suspension of imports of the fruit from the border nation. But on Friday, the agency said additional safety measures have been enacted to address the security issue after working with the U.S. Embassy, Mexico's National Plant Protection Organization, and an avocado trade group. Inspections in the state of the Michoacan is that how I'm pronouncing that? Michoacan? Is that
I don't
have restarted and exports of the avocados to the U.S. have resumed. Stocky calls bullshit though. We're getting avocados again. Stocky calls bullshit.
That's fine. It's bullshit. Because let me tell you something right now. We were going to talk about this last week, and I'm going to get passionate about this one right here. I'm going to get passionate. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. All right. You're telling me that this $200 million to $500 million a year import-export business of avocados through Mexico and America, whatever, this trade agreement, you're going to grind that to a halt because some random fucking warehouse worker in some place you don't even know how to pronounce Mexico got a call from somebody from the cartel and threatened them. That's going to make you shut it down. Okay? Please. Dole, which has been rebranded. It used to be Chiquita Bananas. Dole once wanted to have their growing of bananas and other fruits in South America. They got some pushback from the locals, so the U.S. government took private contractors, whatever, took money from them, went and invaded and fucking overthrew a country just so they could grow some fucking bananas. I'm not even gonna get into that. If you think I'm wrong, Google Dole South America, unrest. You're gonna go down a deep rabbit hole. Also,
speaking of Chiquita Bananas, Jay Leno has an incredible Chiquita banana store. If you ever want to hear an incredible story related to Chiquita
I don't want to hear
bananas,
about that story in the middle of an avocado ranch. Shut up, Alex. So here's the thing. All right. So you're telling me that they gave a shit about one guy? Listen, they don't give a shit about fucking whole cities and towns and populations. They don't give a shit about one person. But I think there's two things. One of two things happened. Either one, they did it to bring California avocados into the market because there's been a lot of demand for avocados and the price has been going up. So they probably either A, were doing some kind of deal, whether it's an agricultural deal or one of the things of China having to purchase agriculture, or trying to get California avocados into the market for one weekend, meaning that they can get good value for the U.S. companies, which is good. You want to get people to vote for you. You do that. Either that, and then now they lifted like, all right, cool. You got one weekend of free. They can't get Mexico. It's all on you. Get it into the market. Either that, or B, this was some CIA bullshit where they were trying to go after the cartels and they did some kind of backdoor deal and they said, hey, listen, you guys are making like $100 million off these avocados since this cartel's running it now. We're just going to stop the import. Oh, I'm sorry. That's hurting you. Well, this is what we want. And then they gave up whatever, whether it was a dealer or they gave up something like that, or gave up some money or drugs or guns. I don't know. Maybe the U.S. government wanted to sell them a bunch of guns and they said, okay, sure. I don't know. Operation Fast and Furious. But yeah, that's it is. Now you can get your cheap blood avocados.
Blood guac.
But hey, listen, the climate's perfect down there. It's warm, it's dry, it's perfect for growing avocados. And a lot of times, we're all talking about this global warming and stuff. But let me tell you something. Listen, let me tell you something right here, okay? The natural world warms and cools, okay? But you know something? A warmer earth just might be a little bit better for us.
Guys, by the way, 92% of avocados consumed in the U.S. came from Mexico. Just as the last little footnote, it's a big deal.
And 94% of all statistics are made up.
I'm going to go to statistics.com and feed someone some bullshit and you win your argument.
My shit's probably more real than anything the State Department puts out.
Guys, the Arctic could see ice-free summers by 2035, reshaping global shipping routes, according to an article on CNBC.com. The Arctic could see ice-free summers by 2035. I'm going to say that out loud. Say it out loud again. Imagine that. No ice in the Arctic come 13 years from now. That's quite a claim. That's quite a claim. I don't really understand You know what that means from a global
Do we
flooding
really need
perspective.
polar bears though?
Polar bears?
Do we really need them?
Yeah, Coke needs them. They sells them Coca-Cola.
I think they'd sell more if you put like an extinct animal.
No way.
Like imagine if Madrinas had like a dodo bird on it.
But polar bears.
Don't let your day go the way of the dodo.
Polar
Start
bears.
it right.
Polar bear is actually my favorite animal. I love a polar bear. Polar bears.
The polar bear would eat you alive. They're violent.
What I love about them is how far away they are, and they can't eat me alive because I'm down here and they're up there, and I'll always be down here and they'll always be up there. Unless
there's always a polar bear within 200 miles of you.
You just made that shit up. That's a
No, I'm not. They're like
stats.com.
at every major. How far are you from St. Louis?
Are you talking about from the zoo?
Oh, we didn't. Now we're
listen, I'm asking
No. You said they're far away from me, and I'm asking you, how far are you from St. Louis?
I'm in St. Louis.
Okay. Is there a zoo in St. Louis?
There's a St. Louis zoo.
Is there a polar bear in that zoo?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not
that I'm aware of.
Go ahead, keep going.
Guys, the Arctic could see ice 3 summers by 2035. That's the story here. I don't know what that means from a global flooding perspective. I'm not that smart to understand what that does. But here's the article. It says sick of shipping delays.
St. Louis Zoo. His name is Kali. He was born in Alaska. Okay, he was temporarily in New York. He's forever a St. Louis. In April 2015, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service announced the selection in St. Louis Zoo's new state-of-the-art polar bear habitat, the McDonald Polar Bear Point, as the bear's permanent home. You literally have a polar bear within 10 to 20 miles of you.
Yes.
Sir, you are full of shit. Your statistic was bullshit, and you have a polar bear within killing distance.
My stat was they're up there, is what I said. It was a very
yeah, you said that they're very far away and can't kill you. They're like literally closer to you than probably a pink-breasted tit. That's an actual bird, by the way.
What are you talking about? That's you using zoo logic is the same. I was not expecting the pink-breasted tit.
Guide to tit species in the UK. Here you go. I'm going to send it to you.
Using zoo logic is the same thing as using like airport logic when you're like, oh, have you ever been to this state? Yeah, I've been there. Or like, have you ever been to this city? Yeah, I've been there. When all you've been in is the airport. It's a very similar logic, or at least foundational logic system. So listen, I'll give it to you. There's a polar bear in the zoo. He might break out and he might, attack my home. He could, probably won't. Anyway, guys, the article which got us on this.
I want to open chat real quick. Pull this up on screen so that people know I'm not full of shit. Okay, I want you to pull up the guide to tits in the UK. Okay,
you want this to be what we talk about right now?
Tits are small birds often seen in the countryside in our garden. So I've often seen tits in my garden. Okay, and oftentimes I do a lot of tit watching. What types of tit visit my garden? Generally speaking, there are 4 types of tits that frequent our gardens, and they include the great tit, the blue tit, the coal tit, and the long tit. So there's a guide to tits for you if you want to do any tit watching. Okay, there's a willow tit, a marsh tit. So there you go. All right, sorry.
You just wanted to say pink-breasted tit, bro. That's what you wanted. You got your way. What are the question says? What are tits? All right, I'm closing the article.
Great question. I think every man has asked that question at some point. Okay, I am a tit connoisseur myself. I am a tit watcher. I have a book full of drawings
on tits.
Pictures of tits to identify them in the wild if I see wild tits.
You have a little black book that keeps track of all the tits that you've seen in real life. Is that what you have? You have one of those?
You never know when you're going to see tits in the wild, okay? And you want to be able to identify the tits correctly because you don't want to look over at your buddy and say, hey, did you see those tits? And those are what kind of tits you say? And he'd be like, no, dude, I've seen many tits in my life. Those are not those types of tits. Those are these types of tits. You don't want to look like somebody who hasn't seen a lot of tits. All right. Speaking of tits, that brings me into my next story.
We didn't even cover this story. We didn't even talk about the Arctic and the ice-free summer.
Fine. Let the Arctic, okay? We lose to polar bears, but I get my Nikes quicker. I think it's a win for everybody.
Stocky got a lot of rest this past weekend. He's feeling juiced. He's feeling ready to go. The article here, guys, we're just going to get to this because it's actually a pretty outstanding headline. With melting sea ice in the Arctic, Russia and China are expanding their shipping infrastructure over the Eurasian continent. Last year's Suez Canal incident, when a ship got stuck and blocked global traffic for several days, was seen as just the argument to entice businesses to explore using Arctic shipping routes. So I guess the idea is that they're going to build a whole bunch of infrastructure up there, and then that's going to heat up the Arctic, and then that's going to melt it? Is that essentially
until the Earth randomly rotates like a 1/10 of a degree and everything freezes over again?
So it says, however, scientists are predicting that by 2035, Arctic sea lanes might be ice-free in the summertime. Listen, none of this is good. None of this is good.
Really? Because I don't know about you. I'm not much of a zoologist, but from my experience, when it warms up, more tits come out.
None of this is good, except unless you want the land occupied around the
They're warm weather birds.
Unless you... Stocky's got tits on the mind, man. Stocky cannot get tits off the brain
Great
right now.
article.
It is. It's very good. So,
matter of fact, I'm going to do some more research after
on
this.
Tits?
So, I want to Google different types of tits and see what comes up, so I can be prepared in case this conversation comes up with anybody that are bird watchers.
Is this keep talk about it coming up with anybody? Is your wife into this hobby with you? I mean, is you guys?
My wife, no, my wife is not much of a bird watcher. She likes to feed the squirrels out back, and I told her, I said, well, at least somebody in this household has nuts in their mouth. All right, keep going.
They're not in the house. They're outside the house.
Hey, listen, I don't care where you put the nuts in your mouth, but squirrels are great for that. Okay, we're derailing. Okay, back to the shipping lanes. Listen, it is unfortunate. I do think it's right. It's terrible. Whether it's man-made, whether it's climate from whatever. It seems good on paper, but obviously we don't want it to completely melt because obviously sea levels will rise. I live near sea level. Actually, I live far enough away, but it is tough to see this right now. There is good with bad and everything, but in this case, I don't see too much good outside of obviously it'll help. I guess it'll just help exacerbate the problem even more, right? Like just let the problem.
The global flooding could lead to water in and around the concentric land circles in the Rakat structure in Mauritania. Bring Atlantis back. Could just bring Atlantis right back.
Listen,
the empire's on its way.
When the ice melts, you get more open sea.
Oh man, he's on a roll. You're on a roll, man. I love it, guys. Open sea, obviously also a sort of a double meaning there with the marketplace where you can buy and sell NFTs. Yeah, if you have a bunch of NFTs surrounding the pink-breasted tit.
Dude, let's do digital tits and sell them as NFTs. People would buy them just because they're like, it says tits, but it's a bird.
Listen, apparently people are not. Speaking of, I thought the connection you were gonna make, besides just saying OpenSea, was gonna be the fact that NFTs. People are talking about how bad they are for the environment. Talking about if it wasn't gonna be this that melted the ice, it's gonna be NFTs. I thought that was gonna be the connection you make because apparently they're really bad for the environment. However,
I think that's bad for the environment. My toilet handle is broken. Sometimes when I flush and it stays down and it drains out, like I waste like 600 gallons a day.
Guys, a hacker is acting.
I look forward to your hate comments.
Regardless of the environmental impact, people might just be deterred from NFTs on OpenSea regardless, just because of this, this trend that appears to be popping up of stealing NFTs. We talked about it last week with the stealing of Bitcoin, and now we're talking about hackers actively stealing high-value NFTs from the OpenSea marketplace. A hacker or hackers are actively stealing and flipping high-valued NFTs. The world's largest NFT exchange, OpenSea, is where it's all going down. All of this is causing chaos and confusion in the broader NFT community. The current mechanism for the hack is currently unknown, but OpenSea placed a red banner at the top of its site Saturday night saying, "We are actively investigating rumors of an exploit associated with OpenSea related to smart contracts. This appears to be a phishing attack originating outside of OpenSea's website. Do not click links outside of OpenSea.io." I mean, how long did it take for us to get here where the digital good is now being stolen? And isn't the whole idea, because obviously NFTs exist from the blockchain. The blockchain is the foundation for crypto. Isn't the whole idea that it's unregulated and there's no legal recourse for anything? People are just out there trading stuff, and it's great because it's unregulated, but it's also terrible because it's unregulated.
They're digital beanie babies, Alex. Just let it go.
But beyond NFTs, it's the crypto, it's the blockchain network that's being compromised, right?
Listen, the best thing about crypto and blockchain is the worst thing about it is that it's not regulated. That's what's so awesome about it, but it's so bad about it because, it's like anarchy, right? Like everybody wants the government out of their shit, but when you get total anarchy, there's no rules and shit just goes wild west. So it's really tough right now. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Like it is with the same thing with the NFTs, right? Like I've always been the believer that, if I just right click something and save it, now it's mine too. Well, it doesn't have the same blockchain digital footprint. Fine. I'll just create a new one. And now it has its own. And guess what? I have my own NFT, but it's not the same. It is the same. Okay. I'm sorry. That's not how this works. It's a pump and dump scheme. It's a multi-level marketing thing. People are it's hot potato right now. Who gets caught with it at the end? It is what it is. I mean, and I'm not wishing bad on anybody ever. I want everybody that's doing things right to not get screwed, but people are going to get burnt at the end. It always happens. Like people who bought GameStop at $400 or more importantly, AMC at $65. People are going to get burned. There's always going to be people like, well, it's okay. It's an investment. It's going to go to the moon one day. Fine. Bag hold all you want, but I think that this is a good thing to happen for NFTs, not because it makes people lose money or people are going to whatever, but it brings a little bit more realism to what the risks are. Not just the fact that you could buy something and it could turn out to be worthless, but that it could be stolen. I think it's good that it helps caution other people. And I think that this is good for it. I think this is actually good that this happened. I know that sounds weird to say, but I think it's good because it shows people that the risks involved and that people will be less likely to just overly risk and overly ledger themselves in something risky.
So this says blockchain records show that the attacker was able to transfer numerous NFTs from different users to their address for free. Stolen NFTs included examples from the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and several other popular collections. The attacker has already sold some of the NFTs. For example, this NFT from the Azuki collection for 13.4 Ethereum, which is valued at 36K. The attacker's wallet currently contains more than 600 Ethereum worth nearly 2 million. So again, kind of what Saki, what you were just talking about.
Way to track it, right? Easy.
Yeah, like I feel like that was the foundational logic system that has made everybody feel like crypto is going to be, the next thing, and NFTs are going to be the next thing. Which I'm not saying they're not, but I feel like the foundational logic has been that the blockchain is like uncompromisable, or that it's just a system that you can't really tap into, and we're already in this situation where someone figured out how to hack it and they're stealing stuff. So, this is just going to deter people from, buying digital goods even more than, I feel like there's you had all of these like early adopters and people just call them like, let's just, crypto bros or whatever. Like you have all these early adopters of NFTs, but then you have like the general public, which has been like
early adopters are already out
of NFTs.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But I'm saying the idea of NFTs, regardless of current investment, I'm saying the idea of NFTs. I mean, look at the damn metaverse, man. Like the entire idea of the metaverse exists because NFTs are a thing. Like the
metaverse is a fucking scam. It's just Facebook rebranding itself, putting lipstick on a pig to try and save their dying company. It's bullshit. Yes. Augmented reality is the future, but not in the way it is this way. Everyone is trying to get rich quick. Everyone has seen all the Doge millionaires and the GameStop millionaires and the NFT millionaires, and says, "Oh my God, I want to be part of the next one. I want to be in early because every time somebody got in early to Shiba Inu coin or whatever, they got rich. So I better jump in now." Everybody jumps in, drives the price up. Some people get in early enough. Some people buy the top, and then it's on to the next thing, right? What's the next thing going to be? Well, it was Dogecoin, and then it was GameStop, and there was AMC, and then it was Shiba Inu coin, and then it was NFTs, and then it was the metaverse. That's just what it is. Everybody's trying to get rich quick, and people are going to make money. It's just about getting into something early enough, and then being a big enough voice or having the ability to stroke a flame of a fire to get it spread so that you can make a lot of money, and other people. Someone has to buy the top. Somebody always has to buy the top. Nothing lasts forever. The only thing that continues to go up in price all the time is fucking real estate, stocks eventually, and fine art. And I'm already investing in fine art.
Stoke the flame. Don't stroke the flame. That's bad advice.
I'm sorry, I just think about your mom again.
If you stroke your flame, you're not going to be in a good situation. But yeah, I mean, I guess that is the only thing that goes up.
It is what it is. I mean, the thing is, though, is that the only thing that goes up is not what your mom said. But no, the other thing is that, people are trying to get rich quick because inflation is killing everybody. It is literally killing everyone's money. You can't afford anything. Everything is going up. It doesn't matter where you are, what you are. It's almost like people, it's not that they want to be risky. It's like they feel like they don't have any other choice. Like it's either I go to zero and I'm still in a shit situation, or I'm able to climb out. And now, not only can you not afford to buy a house, but the alternative is pricing people out as well.
Guys, according to an article, apnews.com, rents reach, quote unquote, insane levels, their words, not mine, insane levels across US with no end in sight. Crystal Guerra's Miami. So they're going to tell us a story about Crystal Guerra. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. Crystal Guerra's Miami apartment has a tiny kitchen, cracked tiles, warped cabinets, no dishwasher.
Crystal's not going to watch this. You're
and
fine.
hardly any storage space. But Guerra was fine with the apartment shortcomings. It was all part of being a 32-year-old graduate student in South Florida. She reasoned, and she was happy to live there for a few more years as she finished her marketing degree. That was until a new owner bought the property and told her he was raising the rent from $1,500 to $1,900, a 26% increase that Guerra said meant her rent would account for the majority of her take-home pay from the University of Miami. She says, "I thought that was insane. Am I supposed to stop paying for everything else I have going on in my life just so I can pay rent? That's unsustainable." Yeah, I mean, we're in this situation right now where inflation's going wild. And you know, it takes a while for that kind of stuff to stabilize when inflation outpaces everything else. But you know, obviously, you know, you're paying rent. It's not an investment. You're paying rent. All that's going to happen now is she's going to have to move out if she wants to maintain her same quality of life and just do a smaller space. But it says Guerra is hardly alone.
This is always tough for me because I'm a big believer in free markets and allowing the market to do things. But I also understand how crony capitalism and taking advantage of people works. So, for example, I'm not a fan of rent restrictions and limits, right? Because I feel like that they're abused. But at the same time, if you get a bunch of homeowners or business owners, especially nowadays with corporations owning so much real estate property, the problem is that they can manipulate the price to the upside. And in a renter's market like this, where millennials and younger people are struggling and they can't keep up with the inflation and the price of housing, they have no choice but to rent. And now you have a renter's market, a landlord's market, where everyone's desperate to rent, and you just kind of like you're just like raising the carrot, and all the donkeys are trying to get there, right? And you can just keep driving it up and up and up and up. And if everybody around you isn't, because a free market would say, okay, people want to lower rent because they want to bring competition. They want to bring, people to come rent from them. But they're like, hey, if there's 10 people for one spot and I have one of the two spots available, fuck it. This guy raised it up to 1,900. I'll do it too. And then it just goes up and up. And how often, it's just like the opposite effect. When you give people something for free, you can never take it away. It's the same thing this way. When they raise the rent to a certain level, they're never going to lower the rent. Why would they lower the rent? The only way they're going to do it is if everything cools off, people are able to buy houses again, there's less demand, and then the market brings it down. But there's a part of this that is just taking advantage of the situation. It's disgusting, and it sucks. As somebody who rented their whole life, I'm always a believer renting is a good option to buying a lot of times, depending on what your situation is. But in this case, what do you do?
Yeah, you're kind of screwed. It says in the 50 largest U.S. metro areas, median rent rose an astounding 19.3% from December 2020 to December 2021, according to a Realtor.com analysis of properties with 2 or fewer bedrooms. And nowhere was the jump bigger than in the Miami metro area, where the median rent exploded to $2,850, 49.8% higher than the previous year. You know what? It's going to happen. Also, you want to know why that happens, because you had so many people jumping ship, leaving California, trying to find a beach state somewhere similar. So Miami got people
and no
flooded.
Taxes.
Yeah, I mean, and it was.
I'm telling you, we're one hurricane away from it just being a collapse down here. Like I'm not wishing a hurricane would hit us, but like I wouldn't be upset because like legit, like I'm so far inland that I'll be pretty good. I got a pretty bunkered down house with good windows and doors and stuff like that. But like, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. Like I'm hoping only the vacant ones get taken out. But like one hurricane, like it's been so long since we've had a major hurricane down here that everybody's forgotten of it, and it's just build, and it's just going insane. One major hurricane is going to wipe it and drop the market down here. So, I'm not wanting it to happen, but if it does, I'm ready. Just saying.
Well, Florida was like a COVID safe haven. COVID like really didn't even exist down there after about 3 weeks. So I mean,
we just got rid of it. We just got it out of our system. We're like, fuck it, rip the Band-Aid off, let the week die.
So obviously Miami got hit pretty big. But listen, all these metro areas that are hit, I mean, there talks about it. It says the 50 largest U.S. metro areas are seeing rent rise from rise 19.3%. You know what the impact of that's going to be? This Crystal, she's just going to find a place that's similar in size and with a similar level and quality of amenities on the inside, just in an area further away from the city. All that's happening
in the
right
hood.
now. Well,
she's gonna have two options. She's gonna move in the hood, or she's got to get 6 roommates.
There's a lot of suburban areas. There's as you move outward away from cities and a lot of these major metros, there's a lot of just like infrastructure in place. There's a lot of just like apartments available.
You live in the Midwest. It's different. Okay.
I'm just talking
When's
about
the last time you rented something?
I rented in 2020.
Okay. What were you renting a place to live?
Yeah.
Were you doing it because you couldn't afford to buy, or because you wanted the freedom to be able to move?
It was just like my like domestic situation. I was renting for that time. I spent a lot of my 20s traveling, like not like traveling for fun, like, you know, in a van. I was just working. So I was just like going to Chicago selling coffee. I was going to Indianapolis to sell coffee, Minneapolis to sell coffee. Real quick.
Just curious. Average rent in. Like what side of St. Louis are you on?
What side of? I'm in the, like, you know, western
Missouri, or in the other side?
I'm on the eastern part of Missouri.
Oh, you in the hood? Okay, so in average rent in St. Louis, Missouri.
Average rent in St. Louis. What does it say?
Average rent in St. Louis is $1,045.
$1,045, and I know of places, you know, in the more like, so there's a part of
there's places in Harlem.
There's a place there's an area outside of St. Louis called St. Charles, and it doesn't have a lot for culture. It doesn't have a lot for, you know, unique restaurants that are like highly touted or anything like that. But it's just a lot of suburban infrastructure, and you can get something for way cheaper than $1,045. That's if you're a solo.
That's not what I'm getting at. I'm talking about based on cost of living. Let me give you an example. As of October 2021, the average rent in St. Louis, Missouri was at $1,045, okay? Which is there. The national average is $1,572. That means the national average is 50% higher than in St. Louis. In New York City, it's almost 2.5 times. Well, I sent you an article a few weeks ago about an apartment in Brooklyn. We talked about it, or not in Brooklyn, in Harlem, fucking in Harlem. That was like I think it was something like 28 meters square, or a yard square, whatever like that. And it had like a twin bed, and then a foot to the wall, a shared bathroom, nothing else. And it was $2,000 a month. Like your cost of living is much lower there. So the rent is much lower. So remember, like you even said, it's different based on where you live.
It's different based on where you live. Places, but that's my whole point, is I think that people are going to redecide where they want to live based on this.
What are they going to do? Just pick up and leave their life to move to fucking Missouri?
No, but you can move like 20 or 30 minutes out. You can move a half an hour away.
20 to 30 minutes out from the major city is insane. You're going to spend all your time. Try working in downtown LA and living 30 miles away.
Oh, LA is a completely different story.
I'm just saying,
completely different story. LA is miserable. I like you said, 6 hours. I've gone from Irvine to Santa Monica back to Irvine, and that took me 6 hours. That was 12 to 3 to get there, 3 to 6 to get back. Miserable drive. And LA is a completely different story than the other.
Oh, but metros. Anywhere. I mean, whether you ever tried going to San Francisco, you ever tried moving into New York City, in downtown Boston from outside of there during rush hour? It's insane. It's not just pick up and move, right?
But that's like, you're talking about the top 5 or top 6 or top 7. We're talking about the top 50.
We're talking about the top 50 metro areas. That's literally what we talked about.
I know, but think about like a Denver, or think about like some of these other ones.
God, give me fucking Denver. Denver's spread out over fucking 20 square miles.
That's my point. There's other metros other than those top 5 or 6.
Just pick up and move to Colorado and double your taxes. Maybe you can get a job out there. Well, sir, my job is working for a major international corporation who's only headquartered in the Northeast. Well, that's okay. Just go to Denver. You can wrangle cowboy stuff.
You're mishearing me. This is not advice. I'm just anticipating people being like, I'm gone.
I had a guy on my show legitimately today talking about Russia-Ukraine. He goes, we watched a video where they were shelling a town in Ukraine. He's like, why don't they just leave? Like, it's not that simple. They can't just get up with their fucking donkey and cart and go 1,000 kilometers to Poland. It doesn't work that way. You're that guy. They just leave.
I'm that guy. You're mistaking this. This ain't advice. I'm just saying at these rates, at 20% increase, and this crystal has a 26% increase, I would anticipate people to just be like, oh, I'm going to move 30 minutes away from the city. I'm going to go further away where I can get a bigger place to live.
Crystal, I know that you have a small child, and you care about, not only ease of being close to where you live and in a good area. I want you to move into the hood, okay? I want you to go into Opelika, all right? You're going to find you a shitty place that has no security. It's been robbed several times. It used to be a meth house. 3 people have died here, but the gang turf war has moved 2 blocks away. You should be good for now. Don't let your kids out after sunset. Is that what you expect? I mean, it's not as simple as just get up and move. I wish it was.
You're saying it's not as simple. It's not advice. I'm saying at 20%.
You made it so simple. Well, maybe Crystal should just move 30 minutes away.
No, I didn't even say should. I would say I would expect people to be.
Oh, you expect people.
I would expect.
This man on his soapbox from his fucking ivory castle. I expect those peasants to move to a different serfdom town.
I'm anticipating people to say, listen, I'm fed up with the metro area and the cost.
Please,
I'm
sir,
going to
please,
just
sir, we only want to survive. I'd expect you to move.
Listen.
But sir, please don't raise the rent. If you don't like it, move to another kingdom. Sir, there's bandits on the road. That's not my problem.
Screw the rent.
But sir, I didn't tell you had to do it. I just expect you to do it. If not, pay the rent. Sir, please.
listen. Screw the rent. If you're gonna buy rent in Miami, you might as well just move to London.
Please have mercy, my family.
Just go ahead and move
you
to
don't
London
pay
and
your
buy.
taxes on time.
Just go to London and buy. Just go to London and buy. Screw renting in a U.S. major metro. Just go to London and buy. Look at this gorgeous micro flat in London.
I'd rather be in a prison cell that is the same size as this than pay for that kind of fucking place and whatever job you live. Plus, I'd have to live in London. My God. Imagine, have you ever thought about getting head from a girl from the UK with all those fucking dangled teeth? Like, that's gotta, I feel bad for British guys. Like, that's gotta be a fucking coin flip every time.
That's not even pink-breasted tits, at least a bird, and you dance around it. You just went straight for the jugular on that one, man.
I'm just saying. Listen, I was invested in Smile Direct Club, right? And I made some good money on it. But when they announced that they weren't going to go to to Britain and to the UK, I was like, all right, I'm selling the stock because they would have made billions over there.
Episode 15's off the rails. We're going to do our best to wrap up with the final story, guys. London's smallest micro flat up for sale at £50,000 for 7 square meters. This is it. This is literally it. What you're seeing right here is what you can spend £50,000 on, about 70,000 USD, in that ballpark. This is what you get. So if you're done with the rent in the US major metros and you're done hearing Stocky and I bitch about, expectations versus just anticipations, then just call it quits in the US, go to London, buy this damn thing. I can't believe that this is selling for 50K in London. London is the financial capital of the world, so they got a ton of cash. So
Is it though? Is it really?
London?
I mean, is it really? I think it used to be.
It's London, it's New York, or it's Hong Kong. It's one of those three. I mean, where the hell else
I feel
is
like London is not. I feel like since Brexit, it's probably not there anymore.
I mean, it's gonna be whatever. It's gonna be. It's top three. It's in contention. So they got cash. They're flush with it, and you got to spend 50K on this flat. It's not even worth reading the article. Who cares what the article has to say? It's £50,000 for this. This is what you get. Saki, you got anything else on the flat, or did you want to get to your rant?
Oh, I'm just looking at this. I think this whole tiny home thing. Listen, I'm gonna go full Alex Jones here. They're trying to condition us to live in small little spaces because they want to control the population. Give us 10 years, and we're gonna be living in 50-story buildings with 100,000 people in them, just like they're doing in Tokyo right now. That is where they're gonna control us. They want to condition you into having smaller spaces and to not own personal things, so that you are dependent on the government and you are a slave.
This is life in London's smallest microflat, located in a Victorian conversion in Lower Clapton, East London. So it says the minimum price set by auctioneers is £50,000, but it is expected to actually go for more, as it was bought for £103,000 in May of 2017. The flat is an example of what experts say is a growing phenomenon of tiny homes driven by soaring rent and property prices. Microflats are becoming more sought after and even smaller, they say. Okay, yeah, maybe this is where I'm going to interject advice. If you can, just go a little bit further outside of the city. You'll get more space. You'll get more space.
Why not go full van life? We saw so many RVs out there, and I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a moment where I looked over at my wife and my daughter, and I said, if I left them right here and just drove and picked up an RV and disappeared, like, what would happen? And not because I don't love my wife and kid, but I just thought to myself, like, if I was that guy and I was just at the end of it, like, how cool would that be? Like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say without. I'll bring the wife and kid with me and think she's gonna be listening. I'm sorry, babe. Can we cut this out? Can we cut this part out right now? Let me start over. So we were at the ranch, and we looked over and saw all these RVs, and I thought to myself, how awesome would it be to just take all the money we have and liquidate all our assets, and put it in the market, whatever, buy us an RV and just travel and just be where we want to be, wake up where we want to wake up, and do what we want to do for a while, explore every national park, every cool place, and just do that. How awesome would that be?
Rich people life, man. Just make some cash.
That's not rich people life. You don't need to be rich
make
for
all
that
cash on Twitch, and then just be like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah, well, if I owned a coffee company and I grew up fucking with millionaire family, then maybe I would.
Yeah, far from it. Guys, thank you all for being here.
My dad gave me a small loan of $1 million. All right, go ahead.
Oh man, guys, shout out Trump, guys. If you want his app, the Truth Social, it's out there. Okay, Stocky, what do you got for us? What's your rant right now?
Do I do the text first or do I do the rant?
No, it's always, we're going to hear your rant, and then we're going to move into the text.
Here's my rant, okay? And I'm going to say this right now, and I mean this with all due respect. But listen, if I don't ask you to see a picture of your kids or your pets, don't fucking show them to me. Okay, I don't care if you're old school and you got a picture of your family in your wallet or on your phone. If I ask you, hey, you're talking about your kid, hey, can you show me a picture of them or your family or your dog? Go for it. I'm all for it. But if I don't ask you to see it, please don't shove that shit in my face. I am so sick of people being like, yeah, so we're doing this. So how's your kid doing? Oh, she's doing great. And I'm like, oh, how's your kid? Oh, she's doing great. Here's a picture of her. I don't give a fucking shit about your little potato-looking Raggedy Ann shit. I don't care. Hey, listen, I'm sure your kid is cute. I'm sure they are. I'm sure your family's beautiful. I'm sure that you've got a picture of you and your family in front of a white picket fence at some great little thing, all the while you're, banging the secretary, drinking alcohol at all hours of the night. Your wife is drinking white Zinfandel and doing Xanax while she's banging the pool boy, and everybody acts like they're having a great life. That's fine. I don't care, and I'm cool with it. If I ask you, please, by all means, show me a picture of your family, your kids, your dog, your cat, all that. If I don't ask for it, I don't fucking want to see it, okay? It's just like with women. Women don't want to see your dick, guys. If they ask you for a picture of your dick, send them a picture of your dick.
If they don't want to question it. Even then, question it. If
you're in a relationship, then don't do it. Listen, I've only sent one dick pic in my life, and I was asked for it. Okay, well, it wasn't my wife, so oh shit, she's gonna hear this. But whatever. So the thing is guys, here's a little bit of advice for you. If she doesn't ask for a dick pic, don't send a picture of your dick. Well, if she sent me a picture of her tits and I didn't ask, I'd love it. Yeah, well, that's different, okay? We love tits. Dicks are not attractive, okay? They're not attractive. The only time they're attractive, bird watching, yeah. But listen, if next time somebody asks me, if I ask for a picture of tits, you know what to do. So please, I'm getting off on a rant. Listen, if I don't ask you for a picture or to see it, don't show it to me. Don't offer that. I don't give a shit.
Have you ever had someone show you a picture of their plants?
No, we have one plant in the house. I bought my wife a plant one time. She's like, oh, this is before we had a baby. I was like, well, she can keep a plant alive. Everything's fine. So we went to a flea market and I was like, we don't have any plants in the house. Let me get her a little cactus, right? A little succulent or whatever. And that thing died. How do you fucking kill a cactus? Like, I didn't know it was possible to kill a cactus.
I don't know, man. I don't even really know how it all lives in the first place. You just
I've had people
water
send me
right?
a picture of their plants, but it's always been weed.
I mean, I've been in a situation where someone without kids or a pet, unsolicited, showed a picture of their plants, and whatever. I'm nice about it. I'm not an asshole about it. I'll look at it. I can be a member of polite society, but I'm thinking in my head in retrospect.
I could be a member of that. Did I tell you I'm going to the Streamer Awards next month?
Are you going to TwitchCon?
I don't know yet. Probably, but they
announced TwitchCon October 7th to 9th, by the way, which is in
you
San
gotta
Diego.
go to the EU one first.
Amsterdam, which is in July.
Yeah.
You got the Streamer Awards next week, right? Did you decide
to
invite your
March
wife?
12th.
Or next month. Did your wife say she wants to go, or are you gonna invite
no,
Bobby?
She can't go because we have the baby. I'm not inviting Bobby. Fuck Bobby.
Guys, all right. Stocky also owes us his latest, or I should say his earliest text that he's received. Stocky, if you don't know, has about 500 missed texts in his phone. Some of them date back to 2017, 2018. We've made it through 2017. We're now into the 2018 period of Stocky's life. So text probably from, I'm guessing, probably April 2018.
No, because I'm skipping all the ones that were like spam that came through, like when my number gets hacked and leaked. So I'm skipping those over. And probably 200 of these are from things that were like bullshit. So I'm going to skip over those and go to the one that I could tell from the unread was unread, and it was from a person, and it's from June 31st, 2018.
Let's get it.
Hi, Jason Frank. This is Heidi from Eddie's Collision. We would like to follow up in regards to your estimate and hope we can schedule in for repairs. Please give us a call at blank, 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 blank to schedule, or if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing from you.
So, what you took your car in? Did you just forget about your car?
No, I'm trying to think.
They probably
what
called
car
you.
was I driving?
They
at the
probably
time?
called you. Probably just didn't respond to the text. They probably called you.
Oh no! This is I've already paid it off, and I'm after this. So this is I was driving a Challenger that I was leasing. Okay, I'm just gonna leave. Oh fuck! I probably shouldn't tell the story. Well, whatever. I was Challenger leasing, and I never got into a wreck with it. I was leasing. It was great. And then like 3 months before I was supposed to return the lease, I was going around a parking garage, and some lady was on her phone and came into me, and I had to turn into it and hit the side on the concrete, right? And a concrete barrier, and fucking huge dent, and just ripped the whole fucking side off. And I was like, fuck, man. I've had this car for 3 years. 3 months before I get out, somebody does that. So I was like, shit, I gotta fix this, right? Like I gotta do some shit. So in Miami, there's a lot of those like Cuban, Haitian places that are like off the books, kind of whatever. And so like I was going around to them, and I was like, to old people I knew to get connections, like, yo man, anybody fix this for a decent price and make it look like it didn't happen, or like that. And so so I found a guy who did it for me for like $600, and he got the whole thing done, the whole front. It looked brand fucking new. He got the paint took exactly the same. You couldn't even tell it happened. Fixed it. And this was one of the legit places that I was trying to get a price thing. They wanted like $3,000 for the same job, but they were going to report it. This guy didn't, so I didn't get charged for it. Returned the thing, cost me $600. Sorry to the next person.
Hey, listen, I like that story. That ends in a good spot. Stocky saving some money.
Good for me, not for whoever gets the lease after me.
Stocky saving some money. Guys, thank you all for being here. This was episode 15 of the Stock Guy AL3X Show. This is the podcast covering topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, sports. When people talk about it, Stocky and I want to talk about it together, guys. YouTube, Spotify, all the socials. Make sure you guys are following. However you guys are listening, thank you so much for listening. Stocky, final words.
Nothing. The AC just came on. My nipples got really hard.
Any tit watchers? Any?
Hey, anybody a blue-breasted tit, maybe?
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. Take care, everybody.
Later.